Today we bring you Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukunai, a cute story of a few loners forming a club to learn and socialize better. The show starts off with a lively school filled with energetic students. As everyone is enjoying themselves, one of them visits his locker only to find that he has left his gym clothes somewhere else. The other students, especially the girls, are afraid of him because he is a transfer student and spends most of his time alone, with a rather serious expression lingering on his face most of the time. As he is about to enter his class, he peeks in and finds that the usually lonely girl, Mikazuki Yozora, is chatting with someone quite energetically. He is greatly taken aback by this sight and tries to find out more about who the other student is. Unfortunately, when he examines it, he finds the room empty and concludes that she is just talking to herself. He enters the room and the laughter and energy completely disappear from her face. Hasegawa Kodaka quickly reaches a seat and confronts the girl about why she's talking to herself. Much to his surprise, she starts making excuses and informs him that she always talks to her air friend, which he realizes is just her imagination of spending time with someone. He advises her to make some real friends instead of pretending that someone cares about her. However, in her defense, she reveals that he is lonely too, since he doesn't have any friends here at school. She mocks him and says that a friendless guy such as him shouldn't give others any advice. Yozora asks whether he has any friends, but he denies having any connection with anyone, and the two start pondering on the process of making friends. Since she feels that it is like a contract, she reveals that she would ask someone to be friends with her by paying them money. Kodaka is against her opinion and feels that she is a bit childish. He advises her to join the club since she is that desperate to make friends. Initially, she is against the idea since there are too many disadvantages for her. However, after much convincing, she suddenly runs off towards the club. Kodaka reveals that after his father moved abroad, he started in the school. On the first day, he took the wrong bus, and when he arrived at the class late, everyone took him as a delinquent due to his hair color and started distancing themselves from him. Rumors about him quickly began circling the school, and everybody wanted to avoid him. Presently, Kodaka is sitting in his class when Yozora approaches him and takes him outside. She informs him that she has an innovative idea and reveals that she is about to fill out an application for a new club. He is surprised that she would go to such lengths to start a friendship from scratch, and she names the club Neighbors Club. He is surprised that she came up with such a name, and she tells him that since everyone uses religion as a tool, they too would notify the school that they are teaching God's word or something, and no one would be able to raise a finger against them. She had already created posters for their club with subtle hints, and after putting them up across the school, they visit their office to discuss further plans. Kodaka is skeptical about anyone joining their club, and suddenly a blonde girl knocks on their door. Mikuzaki isn't letting her in, and Kodaka asks whether she knows the other. She denies it at first, but ultimately reveals that she is Sina, a rich brat who is often surrounded by boys. After they deny her entry, she tries barging in through the window, and Yozora fails to stop her. She reveals that she wants to join the club because she wants genuine friends. As they sit together, the two begin arguing with each other about their breast size, where Yozora shows her jealousy. Kodaka watches this and is grateful that at least the two will manage to become good friends. Upon hearing his remarks, the two are enraged. Since they won't stop arguing, he goes outside to get some fresh air. Kodaka enters the room to find Sina already there. He greets her and she insists that he start calling her by her first name. As they are talking, Yozora barges in and reveals that she has a great idea for starting to make friends easily. Kodaka isn't ready to agree with her just yet, but she reveals that making friends through video games is an efficient way of interacting with one another. She reveals that she got inspired by watching the other girls on her way to school. Since she feels they should start playing games, she demands that they bring a PSP starting next week. The following Monday, the three of them brought out their PSPs and started playing Monster Hunter. Yozora and Kodaka are surprised that Sina has leveled up so much, and when they check her play hours, they are astonished to find that she has constantly been playing for the last few days. As they enter the game, the girls are surprised that he chose something so ordinary for armor and make fun of Kodaka's in-game appearance. Although he couldn't care less about these sorts of things, they all set out to explore the game. Sina intentionally targets Yozora's character and makes an excuse that she pressed the wrong button. Kodaka immediately realizes this, but doesn't intervene. They continue targeting each other while Kodaka is the only one who really focuses on the game. After losing the match, the girls aren't motivated to start another one and complain that online multiplayer games are too boring. Later at school, Kodaka finds some of his classmates discussing monster hunters and decides to approach them. However, they mistook his intentions and soon the word spread that he forced them to trade in-game items with him. The following day, Sina brings a TV to their office and reveals that they are going to play a game. Kodaka doesn't believe that it will help them one bit to make friends in the outside world, but Yozora is convinced otherwise. The three start playing the game, and Sina and Yozora start arguing over the character's name. As they both aren't reaching a conclusion, Kodaka decides to intervene, but his entry is immediately denied. After naming the character randomly and pissing off Sina, Yozora sits back to enjoy it while the other plays it. After interacting with one of the in-game characters, the two show heavy dislike for her, and Kodaka is surprised that they agree on something. After meeting another girl, they decide to interact with her since she isn't rude like the prior character. And the two once again agree on something. As Sina's character progresses, she spends time with the character, and she starts feeling emotionally attached to her. However, a twist occurs because another character has been spreading rumors about Sina, and her likable character decides to break things off with her. Sina is enraged that she only distanced herself based on rumors, and Yozora convinces her that it wouldn't be bad to confront her. As Sina is describing the whole story to her, the girl runs away and she has her heart broken once more. Seeing the sad ending, Yozora leaves in disgust. The following morning, Sina approaches Kodaka and hands him the game to play. She is surprised that she finished all the routes in such a short time, but after looking into her eyes, he is convinced that she didn't sleep at all. She instructs him to finish all the routes to get all the endings to enjoy it fully before leaving for class. Kodaka enters the room and finds Sina playing a game. Yozora comes in hurriedly and tries to distract Sina from enjoying the game. Suddenly, they notice that she is playing an e-rogue and she starts ridiculing her. However, Sina is defensive about it and calls the game a work of art and claims that its story is as detailed as classical literature and stuff. Typical weeb justifying his lewd cravings. Yozora throws a bag of insults at her before forcing her to read the story aloud. When she starts, she quickly is embarrassed and regrets playing the game in the first place. As the scenes get too erotic, she runs away in embarrassment, and Yozora reads a poem as she promised she would read aloud a story after Sina. Kodaka goes home and his sister acts like a demon lord from an anime she has been watching lately. He makes dinner for her and she instructs him to take more care of her. However, Kodaka notifies her that this club is more important to him, and she is forced to consider making lunch for herself next time. The following day, Kodaka arrives at the club and Sina is deeply invested in a new game she is playing. As the characters are swimming, she wants to learn it and asks Kodaka whether he knows how to swim. When she gets a positive response, she is overjoyed and instructs him to teach her. The two plan to visit a swimming pool, and Sina strictly forbids him from notifying Yozora about this. Later, the two meet up in the city and are having lunch when Kodaka reveals that he wants to introduce himself to her father. She confuses it with something else and gets embarrassed, but calms down when he reveals that their fathers are actually close friends. Kodaka is shy initially to being up close to a girl, however, the two quickly form a synergy and everything goes smoothly for them. After teaching her how to swim, she finds it quite easy and Kodaka goes away to take a bath. When he gets out, he finds some guys hitting on Sina, and in return, she is just provoking them further. He intimidates the other guys and they run off. However, he instructs her never to provoke playboys ever again, since it gives them more reason to flirt with the girl. Kodaka returns to his home and has a flashback about his friend, though it is cut short due to some issues arising at his home. The following day, he is sitting at the club and recalls having a friend who tried to protect him, and the two eventually became good friends. Kodaka swore to be his friend forever and remembers the word he had said to him. Yozora hears him and is amazed that he still remembers them but pretends to ignore him. Kodaka senses that someone is following him and hurries to his club room. He finds a little girl in a nun's uniform sleeping there. He reaches out to her since he thinks she is adorable, but the others misunderstand it and take a photo of him, accusing him of being a lolicon. Maria, the little girl, wakes up and reveals that she was tricked by Yozora into becoming the advisor of their club. Since she feels that she has some authority here, she orders the others to get out of the room. Yozora then asks whether she can fit in the club, and she does everything to convince her that she is worthy. Yozora sees through her foolishness right away and begins taking advantage by ordering her to do various things, which she happily complies with. Afterwards, Kodaka informs them about the stalker, and the two agree to help him. However, instead of helping him, the two attract unnecessary gazes, only causing more embarrassment for him. Later, he realizes that the stalker is following him and confronts him. It turns out to be a boy with feminine looks who reveals that he has been getting bullied by his classmates. Yukimura looks up to Kodaka as his role model and envisions him as someone who is living a dreamlike life, much to Kodaka's disappointment. However, when they ask about the bullying, it turns out his classmates don't want to interact with him because of his feminine side and are trying to distance themselves from him. Later, Kodaka hears something and visits the lab to find a student lying on the ground. After taking her to the infirmary, the girl wakes up and returns to show her gratitude. However, instead of praising him, she reveals her wild fantasies and everyone gets the wrong idea. He quickly takes her outside where she offers him some bizarre advice and stuff. After she gets back to completing her research, Kodaka returns to his club and informs them about this. Yozora tricks Yukimura into believing that wearing a maid uniform is quite normal for men, and Kodaka is disgusted that she takes advantage of others. Suddenly, Rika, the girl from before, enters their room and shows her interest in joining their club because of Kodaka. Yozora is initially skeptical, but after Rika reveals that she found the subtle hint in the poster, she has no choice but to accept it. Rika then opens a robotic manga and begins her erotic commentary over the Gundam fight, weirding everybody out. She offers Kodaka to be his friend with benefits, and everybody is shocked at how horny she is. Yozora confronts her, but the confusion only grows further. Kodaka's younger sister complains that she hasn't been eating properly since she can't cook really well, and he makes her breakfast before going to school. He brings some lunch to Maria since she stays at the club, and she informs him that she has been eating nothing but potato chips provided to her by Yozora. She thanks him for his gift and begins calling him her brother. When the others notice this, they start criticizing Kodaka for his sister's complex, and he has to clear his name of any stains. Sina is deeply invested in the video game and wishes she could be a part of it. Rika hears this and informs her that she has developed a game that enables the players to experience the game. They all wear VR headsets before venturing into the video game's universe. Kodaka chooses a magician class but regrets it when he finds out about all the limitations, though he is surprised by Rika's and Sina's choice of clothing. Yozora is wearing a bizarre flower outfit, but since it has more effects than the other ones, she can't complain about it. Yukimura chooses the samurai one, while Maria goes off with the usual nun outfit. As they progress, they stumble upon some enemies, and Kodaka feels that they shouldn't kill them needlessly. However, they have no choice, and after butchering them all, they meet the tutorial boss, which is the Demon King himself. Maria suddenly falls asleep in the real world, and her character stops moving. After Sina is defeated, she distracts Yozora, and she too shares the same fate. Eventually, everyone is defeated, and as Kodaka returns, he finds his sister Kobato in the room. She is jealous that Maria calls Kodaka her brother and begins fighting with her. Since she feels left out, she decides to join the club, and an eternal conflict starts between the two. As dusk approaches, everybody heads out to their home, and at night, Kobato sleeps with her brother due to the jealousy towards Maria. Kodaka dreams about his childhood once more and wakes up to find his sister sleeping with him. Later, in the club's room, everyone is present, and they decide to go out because the semester is soon ending. Since they aren't sure what they will be doing, one of them suggests that they visit a karaoke bar. Except for Yozora, no one has been there, and they all present their opinions about it. Sina is shy to admit what she wants to admit and starts calling it a vulgar place to hide her embarrassment. However, after everyone agrees, she tries convincing Yozora to take her, and the other makes her beg for it. They all go there, and due to the expensive fee, they have to book a different room. Sina and Yozora are sitting in their room bored since the others are in another one, while they all sing. Kodaka starts cheering everyone on and giving them confidence. Soon everybody tries and Kodaka is impressed with them. The other two eventually find the motivation to sing, and they both dedicate their songs to their friend Kodaka, who brought them all together. Afterwards, Sina and Yozora argue with one another once more, debating on who won the singing competition, even though they both were technically matched. The group discusses whether they should continue the club activities in the summer, and Sina disagrees. Yozora doesn't like this, and things begin to heat up. She starts insulting Sina in the middle of the city, and everyone watches this. Sina runs away in embarrassment, and they all continue on their way. Kodaka ponders how much Yozora has helped each of them and thanks her. On the other hand, Sina isn't one to back down, and returns to inform Kodaka about her father asking him to visit them, making Yozora jealous. She doesn't have any idea what's going on and barges into the conversation to know what they're planning. To make things more confusing, Sina deliberately instructs Kodaka to keep this a secret. She intentionally lets Yozora hear this, and the other starts wondering what the connection is between the two. Will Kodaka get to meet his childhood friend once more? What do you guys think? Guess we'll find out in the next video. For now, leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this on your feed. Peace.